we're able to see some different combinations tonight. As I mentioned, I think that was probably the best thing. We were able to see some different combinations, and we were able to see some of our young guys play together, put a uniform on, and I think some of our young guys did some good things. They did some good things. They showed some glimpses of some really good things. I thought our effort waned at times, and we need to be better with that. I just didn't think our effort at times was what it needed to be. I thought our concentration waned at times as well. To be honest with you, and but I thought we had some good moments from some guys. Obviously, as I told you, I think we have a tremendous opening opponent in Akron. We need to get better here these next couple of days and prepare for them. So,
well, Chris, they're down some guys. You're down some guys as well. With Justice, I guess, what is he dealing with? What does the prognosis look like for him, and how did that impact what you were trying to do?
Yeah, it's a kind of a lower leg injury. And he's had some really good practices and some good moments, but it's bothered him a little bit. It's lingered here a little bit. So tonight we wanted to, really in his case, we asked him how he felt. He just did not feel like he could go at this point. So I think for us, it made sense to sit him and try to get him rehabbed. Obviously, we've spoken about Kyle and Seth, but that's kind of his situation.
How does, in a day like today, when you're already going to mix and match guys, and you're going to try out some different lineups, how does that, again, make it maybe challenging to evaluate some things? Or
I hope, Adam, it's not a situation where we have to deal with this as the year goes on. You always have to deal with injuries, but we talked about last year towards the end of the year, and some of it was the wear and tear of the Big Ten tournament, but everybody knows about Kyle being out. What they don't know is that Justice was struggling with this a little bit in the NCAA tournament as well. So as much as possible, we need to be, we need to get healthy. That's going to be critical for us. I'm hoping it's not going to be one of these things where it's going to be touch and go throughout the year, where we can have some consistency to him and to his play. But we'll see how he continues to progress.
Coach, it seemed like a couple of second-year guys tonight really looked like they stepped into more comfortability on the court, talking about Michi, Eugene, and Zed all being more aggressive on offense. Do you think that's indicative of what you've kind of seen in practice, them kind of embracing more of a role, more aggressive on offense?
Yeah, they've had some really good moments. Zed had a good scrimmage. Gene really struggled in the first scrimmage. And I just didn't feel like he played as aggressively as he needed to play. I thought tonight, and I'm not thinking offensively, just in general, I thought tonight he had a much better energy and aggressiveness. Granted, the competition was different, but I thought he did some good things. Michi's had some, like you saw tonight, some flashes of some really good play. He's had some other moments where he's just got to continue to read the game, or he gets playing a little bit too fast, which is normal. He's a freshman. It's just his first full year. So we're going to have to play through that with him and Malachi in particular, and as well as play through some of the growing pains with Zed and Gene and some of those younger guys. They're going to be critical for what we can eventually be as a team right now. We're not there yet with those guys. They're going to be really critical for us.
And how did you feel about the play of some of the transfer guys? Cedric, of course, Joey, and Jamari as well.
Yeah, I think Jamari was really good. He's been that way. Joey looks like a guy who's been off an entire year. He's just got to get more physical. He's got to shake some of the rust off. And Cedric has to continue to get used to length and everything at this level. So he's a work in progress, as we've mentioned.
You kind of touched on it with Michi already, but like tonight there were some moments where he's throwing cross-court passes and they're getting there even if somebody's not shooting. Yeah. And then there's moments where he's jumping up in the air and then the pass is getting picked off.
Yes.
I guess it's not Dwayne-ish, but it is kind of like what's okay and what's not okay with him right now.
Oh, man.
At this point.
You're throwing Dwayne-ish out there right now, huh? Okay. Golly.
I'm sorry to give you nightmares.
Yeah, no, I love that kid, but he did give me some gray hairs. I think, I just think he's just young, and I think he's still figuring out what he can and can't do on the floor, and that's going to be very much a work in progress. You know, he had the one play that he got rewarded for in the second half. I took him out right afterwards because he jumped it really far out. He had made a great reject of the ball screen, but jumped almost inside the foul line. He's not going to be able to get that shot off against Akron. It's probably going to get blocked or it's going to be a turnover. So I think there's an adjustment level for him. But I love his aggressiveness. I like his aggressiveness attacking the paint. I thought he did some really good things in the open floor, which I love because he gives us a burst in the open floor. And I just like how he's attacking right now. We're going to have to play through some of his mistakes for sure. Him and Malik, I think we're going to have to play through some of their mistakes for us to get better.
Does Jamari help with that, having those two on the floor, kind of similar to what you did with DJ and CJ a couple years ago?
Yeah, he does. He stabilizes things. I want Jamari to actually shoot a little bit more than what he does. He's a little bit too unselfish at times, but they balance each other. You know, Michi does have some scoring tendencies. You know, keep in mind that we initially grabbed Jamari thinking he was going to be alongside Dwayne, and we thought that was a great compliment. So I do think there's some balancing that goes in there with both of those guys. And I want Jamari to even be a little more aggressive than what he's being. He can shoot the ball.
How impressed were you with Zed and his ability to kind of take over the paint, kind of, you know, establish his dominance? Because, I mean, it seemed like whenever he had the ball in his hands, especially when he was backing down against a defender, he was kind of just, he was ruling the day. And is that kind of what you want to see with him, kind of taking that initiative in the paint?
Yeah, I think that's how he's got to play. He's got to play as physical. That's who he is. He's a really physical player. Biggest challenge for him is he's got to see the game a little bit easier. You know, he doesn't always, and you guys don't see it, he doesn't always make the right reads, or, you know, he can be super aggressive and super physical, which I love. He's got to be able to play with his mind a little bit more at times. But I thought he had some great finishes, some really physical. He set the tone for us, really, in that first 10 minutes.
And and I asked your players this, but a lot of three-point attempts for you guys tonight.
Yeah.
And is that indicative of what you want this offense to do, or is it kind of more inside out?
You know, we've always shot a lot of threes here,
Yeah.
Particularly more these last couple years. We've always been a team that's I believe in that. Certainly, I believe in the analytics behind it, the importance of being able to have multiple three-point shooters on the floor, as many as 4 if you can't have 5 at times. I just think there's great value in that. We did, however, take some rushed, quick ones that I didn't love, and I didn't particularly like the ratio of threes. I thought we were three happy a little too early. You know, too much too early. You know, I think 6 of our first 9 shots were threes. It was a little too many. I think some of them were good. Again, we're going to shoot a lot of threes. That's what we've done and are going to continue to do.
They've got another week left of camp, but just in general, from where you were at the beginning of reporting for camp to where you are now in your final exhibition, pleased with the progress? Where do you want to see more? What do you have left to accomplish this week?
Yeah, I think we've made some progress, but my biggest challenge is we have to play harder, more consistently. We just do. We've got to play harder, more consistently than what we've done right now. Bottom line, and it's got to be led by our older guys. But I think we've had some good moments. We've had some growth. We've been able to see. I think the scrimmage was really good for us. But we've got to play harder, tougher, more consistently than what we do right now.
You've talked a lot about wanting the defense to get kind of back to where it was a couple of years ago. I know tonight maybe not your best look at that, given the opponent, but where do you feel like it's coming, maybe with the other scrimmage and what you've seen in practice, and just kind of where do you feel like it stands right now?
We were awful in the first really 25 minutes defensively against Ole Miss. We just weren't very good. I thought we settled in after that. I think tonight we had some good moments. Again, granted, much different competition, but we had some good moments. It's belief, it's buy-in, it's the commitment from our older guys, commitment from our captains. That will determine how good we get defensively. because I think we have a chance to be better. I'm not saying we're going to be, some of the elite teams. Our third year here, we had a tremendous defense. First year, we had a tremendous defense. First and third, really high-level defense. I'm not saying they can get quite to those numbers, but they can be better than what they were last year.
Specifically with Malachi, numbers aside, box score aside, whatever, what were you hoping to see from him in these couple scrimmages? What were you hoping that he'd develop through the scrimmages, and what did you see from him actually on the floor?
Aggressiveness. I want him to stay aggressive. I want him to stay attacking. I want him to compete on defense. I want him to play really hard. But first thing is aggressiveness, really on both ends. And we saw that. I think he's you see it. He's a young kid. He's the youngest kid on our team. He's got a bright future. He's just a young kid right now. You see glimpses of some really good things.
You kind of touched on the talent level, competition-wise, between Ole Miss and tonight. How do you, as a coach, kind of separate those two things as what you saw on the court and what needs to grow?
Yeah, it can be a challenge, but the standard is the standard. So I think there's an expectation of us doing certain things every possession, and you can evaluate that. Did they do that regardless of the competition? I don't know if I'm making sense or not, but that's really the expect. Did they run the floor? Did they go to the offensive glass? Did they pressure the ball? So there's certain things you can evaluate regardless of the competition. Again, it'll get ratcheted up at a really high level again against one of the better mid-majors in the country in Akron. So we'll get a better understanding after that. But as I watched tonight, there were times where we just didn't have enough guys playing quite hard enough. So you can take that and go back and say, this is why you got pulled out, or this is why you got exposed, or we got exposed in some areas.
Preseason's kind of done now. You put a bow on that, move towards Akron. Where is the confidence level of this team kind of getting ready for the season?
I don't know. I think we, I don't really kind of go in every day and take a temperature. I think, my college coach, God rest his soul, I've told you, said confidence comes from competence. So I think when we do it, our confidence will grow, and when we do it against good people. But I think they have a belief in each other for sure.
Not sure we'll have many games this season where we'll go this long without asking about EJ, but he just kind of let the game seem like come to him a little bit today. What did you see from him? Is that a good sign that he's not trying to force the issue in a game like this? Maybe he deferred a little.
Yeah, no, I thought he took some open looks. I thought even in the second half he got a little bit tentative. I want him to shoot open shots. I want him to stay aggressive. He got to his spots better in the second half. I did not think he played with the motor that he needs to play with consistently to be one of the best players in the country. So that's my challenge for him.
And just about Cedric, you said how, obviously you can't play everybody, and you got a lot of guys in that backcourt. Him not playing till the second half, was that just rotations and you can't play everybody, or was there anything disciplinary that went into that?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Sorry, with Cedric not playing until the second half.
Oh, yeah, nothing
Okay.
disciplinary. No, we just got a lot of guys and a lot of guys in the backcourt looking at different rotations. I just wanted to see him with that group there in the early part of the second half.